Yes, we're live. And welcome. This is Dawn Nocera, and this is your Monday morning or afternoon, lunchtime Empire Building Mastermind Hangout, where we talk about things that make it easy for us to just get in our sweet spot in our business and build our empire with ease and grace. So here we are. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. I wasn't here. We didn't meet last week, but we're here this week. We'll meet again next week, and I'm traveling on the 16th. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what today's topic is? Did anyone see it? Divine timing versus forcing it. You know, like making it happen. So we're going to talk about that. Like what, you know, because a lot of us are questioning this as we're becoming an evolutionary leader and as we're stepping into this ease, and we really are feeling like we're called to do something, so we want to make it happen. And then there's this whole aspect and whole thing about divine timing. So we're going to talk about that today because I feel it in the air as something that you guys are asking for, at least on a subconscious level. So that's what we're doing. So anyone want to share any great wins or things that have been happening that are just awesome or easy or just, you know, good life experiences that you want to share to help keep that vibe upward spiraling? Robin, you have something that you want to see?
Yeah, I in the last 2 weeks I've taken a different approach, and I just seeing the results of taking a lot of actions and that I feel like doing, and marking down that I did them, and kind of keeping myself in this little tabulation of, oh, how many of those did I do? How many of those did I do? And it keeps me out of that my monkey mind that says, hey, I'm not doing anything, or it gets me all locked up into some feeling kind of thing. You know, there's this thing about feelings versus feelings. There's like, okay, we got to feel our feelings, and then there's the other thing, which is wallowing in them.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a neat thing to just be tracking, you know, okay, I did this and I did this, and like Stephen Pressfield says, kind of staying stupid. Like, I'm just doing this, I'm just going to do this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And then saying, yay, I did it. So that's the good part too, right? The self-celebration.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, so I have a feeling you're going to have a lot to share today, so I'm excited. Yeah, really exciting. So, Andrea, I see you unmuted yourself. What's going on that's good for you this week?
Oh, okay. So, I've been really only doing things that bring me my highest excitement and my highest joy.
Yay.
And through this, through really understanding that, it was like, oh my God, now I kind of get everything that wasn't working for me, because I was not doing those things from my highest excitement or my highest joy. I was doing them because it seemed like it was the logical thing for me to do, or someone had suggested that it's logical for me. So I've completely abandoned all of that, and I'm abandoning Empowering Angels, because it's just was supposed to be my teacher. And so I've gone through my grieving, I've gone through my blessing it, and now just going to be branding under myself.
Wow.
So, yeah, so having kind of like had that awareness and had that acceptance, I feel like so free, like I feel light as air, and everything is just so working out in such perfect divine timing.
Awesome. I love that. I really do love that you're, you know, sometimes there's the time to let go, there's the time to make it happen, and then there's the time to wait.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity, or you did have an opportunity to let something go, and I think that's beautiful. And Robin had an opportunity to, you know, not forcing something to happen, but like to go through the steps. And I really love that, because that's not necessarily the same energy. And I love the way you explain it. We're going to ask you more about that today, because I can say things over and over and over again, because that's really about the R. oh my gosh, the R, Robin, R for Robin, and the R for, you know, being in relationship with your results and being responsible, taking responsibility for just, you know, the numbers as they come. And if it's, you know, you're paying attention to how many, Robin, you're talking about how many things that you've done, whether I'm guessing that they're calls or strategy sessions, and just, you know, looking at those as numbers as opposed to the individual, you know, we get caught up in the individual emotions around like what happened within the structure of it. When you have the structure of like, okay, this is the place for the strategy session, and there it is. Did it happen? Let's move forward, and just looking at that. So anyways, I'm sure that you're going to have a great abundance of added wisdom to help us move through this week, and especially with this topic. And Mark, you're standing up. You have some wins?
No, I pushed back. I'm in a chair. I'm in a lot of pain, so it's just.
Oh, well, you can stand up if it.
Pfizer telling me they couldn't get me until next week, so I was pissed. I wasn't using divine timing because it said they open at 8:30, and I started calling and calling and calling, and they finally called back right when you're starting, when I'm trying to listen to this, and said, "Oh, yeah, we start seeing people. We don't do the phones till 9 o'clock." Okay. Well, it would have been nice if you put that on the phone system, so I didn't keep calling and trying.
Right.
So there's a perfect example. I'm putting some ice on my neck. Perfect example of divine timing versus pushing the envelopes. I pushing, so fucking let it go. But no, I had it in my schedule, 8:30. I call, so I'm all done, ready for the mastermind. I'll be set. I got my appointment out of the way and did the most important thing first. Sure enough, here I am doing a train wreck. Yes, I had great wins. Last night, Mark Shift, who opens for Jerry Seinfeld Thursday night and has been opening for Jerry for 15 years now, opened for me. So that's pretty cool. He was awesome. He's a comedian, writer, very, very talented. So I did that show last night. I did last week's show when we were off the air was the one I've been talking about, the big fundraiser. And although it did not get close to the original expectations, it was a big success and looks like it'll be repeated in October to a much wiser way of implementing it. Learned a lot along the way. And it was nice to work with the person who was the first person who didn't cave under pressure, you know, get really stupid about how stupid the lack of support from everyone else was. So I continue to see a similar pattern in all these, and I'm working on the strategy for doing ends around and like that. But the show itself was phenomenal. People had a great time. The place, they made over $4,000, which was nice, and a big win. We're supposed to make $15,000, so that's, you know, luckily we lowered some of the expectations in time, but my bank account was not ready for that, so it was kind of a mixed blessing. Still, to make up for that, a client who lost, oh my God, over 100 pounds 5 years ago with me after 2 sessions, came back and brought a client from Wisconsin who flies back and forth all the time. She's quitting Pepsi-Cola, and both of them said, I want to be here. I don't want a one-session thing. I want to see you a bunch of times. So both of them paid for big ticket sessions in advance in 2 days' time. So that was out of nowhere. Yeah. So that was huge. It was really fun to be doing like 3 sessions a day. I haven't done that in 10 years. I haven't wanted to do it, but I had to do it because there was so much work. So 3 shows, and I'm driving to San Diego in 2 days to do another show on a Wednesday night. That's a lot of work, a lot of wins, a lot of cool stuff. And I'm turning the corner with the pain thing, but it's not pleasant. It hasn't been fun. So if you see this big thing around me, it's actually ice.
I do. I see it. And I take regular chiropractic care, and I'm going to just share the one thing that works for me because I know that, and it doesn't, the ice works definitely, but when I get like the muscle cramping around the misalignment, cypress oil, like a really good high quality essential oil that's just plain cypress, is really helpful for like the muscle, releasing the muscle tension. And it's like for the cramping that you feel around the muscles. That's what it releases. So if you feel any of that kind of like cramping, like you can't move because your muscles are cramped, I'm passing on what works for me in that cypress oil. So.
Well, my brain has been cramped around this.
What's that?
My brain has been cramped around this, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
For a while. I've had chronic stuff. I've had real severe pain. This is not that. This is just, it keeps coming and comes. It's like the little Energizer bunny. Hi, how are you? Good morning. I'm going to be sitting on your back all night. Neck, rather. Doing a show with that is quite an effort, let me tell you.
Yeah. You gotta get somebody who can get you in there regularly. Like.
I'm doing acupuncture, everything.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because I had to go in almost every day when I first had it. I mean, it was like almost every other day. So.
I got I'm losing so much weight, my pants fell down during the show last night. For real. Luckily, I was behind the people. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. It's a good thing to happen. We're
talking about the knees, man. That was hysterical. I grabbed it, and I had the microphone in one hand and the pants in the other. It was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've heard yet.
This is weight I lost since last year.
Congratulations, that's amazing, and so wonderful. So.
Bill, I thought I had the belt notched, and that would have been real comedy, but I don't think that would have been.
Yeah, the comedy hypnotist.
I would say that was divine comedy and divine timing.
Oh, there you go, divine timing.
I was standing behind the people in the chairs I hypnotized instead of in front of them. So that would have been a double show. The audience would have gotten a shot, and the people would have gotten a rear shot.
Somehow it always goes crazy when you get up here. It goes like,
there we go.
I'm really out in left field.
And divine stretching.
Mark to somehow make it crazy. So anyways, congratulations. So if anybody's watching and you need a great hypnotherapist who's in, where's it, Thousand Oaks?
Yeah, who wears an ice pack on stage if he has to.
Yeah, who wears an ice pack on stage. And he can help you with your weight loss and whatever else. Hallmark back rack.
Right. Oh boy.
You have your phone number up there on your lower third, Mark, just in case anyone wants to call.
I keep forgetting there are people watching this. Okay.
Yeah, there are people watching. Hello. And they watch the recordings too. Isn't that amazing? Hey, I think we've got somebody watching on the outside, and if you want on the inside, go ahead, and you can either on the event page just say, hey, I want in, and I'll send you the link. Actually, maybe I have it already up here. Let me put it on just for, I don't know how many more people we can have in here, but.
Where's Kathy?
You know what? I don't know where Kathy is today. I invited her personally. I added her. I just added the link to the event page. So if anyone's watching and look for that link to pop up and just click on it and join in. If you can, if we get too much overload on the video, we might have to go down, but I think it's okay for right now. Anyway, so hey, Michelle. Hey, click on that link, Michelle. If you want in, just join us. Just click right on that link and it'll pop you in. It's like magic. It's like being teleported to like another planet, when you click on those links and bang, you're right in. So yeah, I've had some really good, really good successes just this week, but mostly just around, for myself, all my successes are revolving right now around my work with self-appreciation, and I did a really nice self-appreciation workshop that I just it filled my soul, it filled my spirit, it just filled me up so much. And we got a few more people enrolled in we're going to do a little day retreat here in Columbus, Ohio, Northern Ohio, where we're going to do the deep dive of self-appreciation. So we got a couple more people that were, registered for that, and I'm just feel really blessed and really appreciating the fact that I get to do this work. It's really powerful.
I just,
Hey, Michelle.
it filled my soul, it filled my spirit, it just filled me up so much, and we got a few more people enrolled in our...
Oh, you've got me. I'm like, what is going on? Michelle, stop the video in the background of me because I'm hearing myself.
Where we're going to...
You got it? You must have gotten it.
That was your doppelganger.
I'm like, Michelle's, I'm like so confused. I'm like, wow, Michelle's like on here and she's like reflecting back what I just said. Absolutely. And then I realized it was my own voice. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Divine harmony, divine voiceovers.
Yeah. So find out where that, you've got the video rolling on the event page, then get that turned off before you come back in. Otherwise, the word Sharon wins. So I don't know if you can pop in here, Michelle, and do you have any great wins going on this week? Ooh, she's got
a microphone's turned off.
Yeah, well, just unmute yourself, Michelle, when you want to pop in and share your wins for this week.
Voiceovers.
Oh, there she is. Hi. Oh, she muted herself again. She's like, or maybe she's got her thing rolling in the background. Just shut down that event page. We'll get going. All right. So, Robin, I'm going to ask you, because you look like you're just so enlightened and so full of like yumminess today. Don't you feel good? You just look like you're radiating. Like we've got all these R words, and I'm not going to like go into the R words because Elaine's here. Spiritually, she's here because I can hear her, feel her, which is why I'm thinking about these R, like the words. But Robin, responsibility, just, and, reeling in this, revelation of how these results and how to be on this side of this energy of timing and making things happen work. I get, what? I just feel like I just want to ask you to share what's working for you, so other people who are watching this can hear it and can really get that full, just the full consciousness of what is, just coming up right now on this side of this past couple of weeks for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of myself like Rockin' Robin, so that's kind of fun. More R's. I'm involved with a group where we're motivating ourselves to take actions that are in line with the results we want to create. So we have sort of a game set up, and the things that we are wanting to do, it's marketing. It's taking marketing steps that are in line with what we're doing, and we're getting points for doing that. So we get points for self-care as well, which is really nice. So. It's not as much, though. Otherwise, we'd load up right there, wouldn't we? But some self-care, so it's always in the mental set. And then there are points for taking marketing actions. There are points for having the result of a marketing action. Like one would be, okay, where I would like to speak about a subject. Where will I speak? Researching where to speak is one level of points. And then actually setting it up, that's a setting up a marketing activity, but then actually doing the marketing activity, like doing the talk, that's where you get bigger points. And then when you get the results of that, you get bigger points. So if you schedule a conversation, you get bigger points. If you have the conversation, you get bigger points. If you get a client, you get bigger points. And so it's like we're getting rewarded for taking the steps and seeing the relationship of the steps
nice.
to each other. And what I find is I am kind of competitive, but it gets me out of the mindset of evaluating the results. And it made me actually think, like, when I was having my first daughter, I wanted to know all the time, like, what was the result of all of this hard work? Like, was it okay now? Could the baby come out? You know, like, and it would just take hours and hours. And if you measure all the time what's happening during that process, it can be negative. It can be really negative. Well, I think similarly, if I'm trying to give birth to my ability to really help people, each step of the way, it's better to just look at, okay, did I, like back to the pregnancy thing, did I take my vitamins? Oh, Mark, what is that?
Huh?
He's playing with the
Oh,
the
no.
box,
Oh,
the
dear.
mastermind toolbox.
Is it time to stop talking?
No. Jeez. Wrong button.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. It's more about the idea of process goals as opposed to did I do well enough yet?
Right.
Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Yes, I'm doing it. I'm committed to doing it. How do I know? Because I see myself doing it. I'm taking these steps, and it's fun. It's actually fun doing these steps. And now that I'm out mixing around with people, I'm getting the results of, oh, that was really fun, or that really helped that person, or I really learned something. So all the way along, there's a wonderful feedback that's different than that feedback of maybe some pre-programming. A way to sidestep the pre-programming that says, I should be doing something different, or I'm not good enough, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. And sometimes it just takes you away from even the, it stops the shoulding, because like and there's just something magical about completing those tiny, tiny, tiny things. Like, it builds our self-confidence like nothing else is like to complete something. And I know that, for me, we can get addicted to completing things that don't actually move us in a direction that we want to go. Like, we can get addicted to completing the dishes. This is not my problem. This is other people's problem. Like, just saying that. Like, or like making the meal, like being done with it, or like the housework stuff. The distractions. Those things are great when they are. And all of the completions are great as long as they keep you in that forward moving flow, like where they're actually putting you in the flow.
Yes.
As opposed to taking you out of the flow. And I think that's, magical, and you've done so much wonderful work that you actually can feel and know when you're in the flow and you're doing it, and oh yeah, this is perfect. This is what I'm doing. I just think that's wonderful. So, congratulations to you. I want to celebrate your success, because doing those things, it makes a difference, doesn't it? Are you starting to see the results after, 2 weeks of doing this?
Yeah, I am. I'm starting to see, when you live up here, whoops, I spilled my coffee on my keyboard. When you live up in your head, you can't see any results. And it's just kind of negative, self-perpetuating, sadness. But I'm going to go get something to wipe up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So does anyone else want to pop in? Michelle, are you able to unmute yourself yet? Are you able to come in and
yes, I can unmute myself.
Yay! Awesome. Oh, so we were sharing before you came in. Well, before you were probably listening on the outside. We were sharing what are our wins, and we're talking about the difference between divine timing and trying to make it happen. I know that you're a manifesting generator, so you're addicted to the making it happen type of energy, but there's a whole, if we're just talking about energy, there's a whole lot of ease in doing things without trying to make things happen or trying to figure things out. Anyways, so the question is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what are your successes over the past couple weeks?
Completing a few paintings for myself in the correct, I don't even use the word correct timing, because that's still a judgment.
Right.
When the flow came, it came, and the energies would flow, and the paintings would happen, and writing took place. It's funny how I think that I'm going to schedule my day, and I outline things like, oh yes, I'm going to do this today. And then guides tell me, go over here and write that, because I get inspired moving from a painting all of a sudden while I'm in the painting, and then all of a sudden I get inspired to write something, so I move over to my desk and I start writing. And what I think is going to be like, oh, this is like a 15-minute jot down. It's like 10 pages typed later. Okay, now I get to go back to the painting again. And so I'm realizing that my timing is really, really tied. The correct flow of timing for me is very tied to my creativity when I engage with my creativity, which is where I'm actually supposed to be spending most of my time anyway.
Right.
And I've had some great wins with clients too, so far as breakthroughs that are happening in their lives, which I consider it a win, because that everyone on the planet wins when somebody breaks through a transformation. It's not just about me. I've had some amazing transformations myself, dark night of the soul types of transformations that still have the last residuals of integration happening, but it's all good. And it's just every day is a win, actually. I view every moment, regardless of what the energy is, whether it's pleasant or not, it's still a win, as long as I can view it with appreciation and awareness.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? That's good. Yay, thanks for sharing all that. And kind of, the real big point that I kind of like want to amplify and like put around your work is that you are an artist. And there's a lot of people out in the world who have artist energy and really should be working in that kind of divine flow of creativity. And then there's other people who just go in and out of that. I feel for me personally that I go in and out of the creative flow where I just need to schedule absolutely nothing and just be in that creative space so I can create on my own timing. Like the other night when I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I just could not go back to sleep. It's time to write, and I'm like, all right, okay, it's time to write. And I also knew, like for me, like the appreciation piece is just, it's not even an option anymore. Like if I don't start everything with that vibration of being in appreciation for myself, then nothing that I do is fulfilling for me. So that helps me a lot, to do all the little details and all the creative stuff. And right now I'm hunkering down. I just wrote a little post about how this week I just really feel like this is a week for me to hunker down and do the details and just focus on those details and just do those little steps of the things that I have. Not to necessarily worry about the energy, but just to do the things, and not to make something happen, not for the result, but just to do the things that are in front of me to do. And I think that that's another piece of awareness that's maybe helpful for people that are watching to understand that sometimes it's really easy. Yeah. Anyways, congratulations on getting your paintings done. I know I've seen a couple of them. They're gorgeous. Your work is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Full of so much more than just painting, full of activations, full of, world-changing art. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, for me, one of the energies for me also that's important is I stay in wonderment and awe.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so there really is no result. I don't have an end goal in mind, which is kind of weird for a lot of people that, they're always thinking, well, what's your end goal? It's like, I'll know it when it clicks.
Right.
I'll know it's done when it's done. And that's that's the level of trust that I now have with things. I trust when I'm guided to start. I also allow that some days I might create stuff that it's like, okay, that's just stuff. And other days, absolute amazement comes through, and I have no clue what's going to make one happen versus the other happen or anything else. So I just invite that space of awe and wonderment. You know, I wonder what's going to evolve out today.
Yeah, that's nice. And that makes that goes into like that's when you know you're in that divine timing. You're in the flow. You're in that space of ease and effortlessness. And sometimes we just get in it. Like Robin, I think this is what is just feels like is so true, is like sometimes we think that the doing of the work is not in divine timing, not in divine flow. However, I feel that this is, it's so not necessarily the case. We can never not be in alignment. Like we can never not be connected. Like we're always one. It's just the mental, I call it's the disease. It's the virus. It's a virus. It's like the computer virus that we have in our brain that says that somehow we're separated or that it's not the right time. And it's always about aligning our energies. It's really always about how do we look at something before we do it, not necessarily whether or not it's the right time. Okay, and that was kind of like where I wanted to direct this. It's, there's like the perfect time that wells up within you, and you're like, oh, this is it. Like like nobody could stop you from doing the thing, right?
Uh-huh.
That's super divine timing. But I think that there's times where, if you really trust yourself and you're paying attention, when you're resisting the action and you're the person who's stopping yourself from doing something. And that's a totally different thing. And that's where we get into, we're trying to make it happen. And it's really when you're in that energy of I'm trying to make it happen, you're trying to bust down some resistance that you have to doing the thing, as opposed to starting from a place of non-resistance and allowing yourself to do it. And allowing yourself to, like pick up the phone, make the call, or share your artwork with the local gallery, or whatever it is. But when we feel that resistance to some action, it's not always divine resistance. It's not always like a divine timing thing. We have, knowing yourself and getting really comfortable with feeling the feelings when you know that it's coming from within you, and knowing the feeling that it's coming from resistance, like there could be another thing to do instead of this. And I feel like this is a lot of, like, it feels like the talk is there, but I'm hoping that the understanding and the energy of what I'm trying to say is being transmuted and communicated through the computer. So people might be watching this and they might begin to understand that the difference between having our own internal resistance and trying to force through it. That's really where stress comes from. That's what I wanted to say. That's where stress comes from. But Robin kind of hit some sweet spot. and Michelle's living in this space. So I don't know, Andrea or Mark, does that, any of what I just said, like,
Yeah,
bring any?
very much. Now that I've kind of calmed down and stopped resisting what is, I was really busting through. Yesterday was such a great example of what you were saying. I just completely surrendered. I knew that there was a huge challenge to go in front of a bunch of people in this kind of agony, and I just kind of like let go into it. Everything was running smoothly. I didn't get stressed out about packing or anything else. Three things happened. One, Dina misplaced her phone, and I just kind of like go, okay, it's going to be there. And we just kind of hung out, and then at exactly 4 o'clock, her phone usually gives off an alarm telling her to take some medication. And there it was in my bathrobe, in the bathroom, alarming. She didn't hear it, but I did. I said, "Oh, there's your phone." Like, what do you mean there's my phone? There's your phone. So we got the phone, went down to the where I was able to get my worker to reinstall my dishwasher at just the right time, because he was going to come after I left for work. I said, "Nope, that's not going to work." So he came before. I picked up the rolling cart that I bring my microphones and mixers in, and sure enough, there was my Bluetooth Plantronics headset loop that had gone missing for 3 months. I mean, just like, there it is. Just found something else for someone else. Now I get to find my thing.
Nice.
Got there, got everything set up, and found out that I left a cord behind that would make the setup completely easier, because they had all this equipment that I could just put one of my cords into and I wouldn't have to set up my stuff. So I called my renter, who was coming to run the video camera, and he came up with the idea of taking his laptop, his pad and Skype, and going through my work area, showing me. So it was like doing surgery by remote control, you know.
That's
And
awesome.
exactly where I told him to look the first time, but without him looking on the video, was where it was. And he just didn't see it. But when he came up with the idea of doing that, oh, there it is. See that thing with the yellow tag on it? That's it. Put it in your pocket, bring it over here. Saved me like another half hour worth of work. So I'm still like 2 hours early, so I go into the next room, which is a ballroom. I just, okay, this is my meditation room. Turned out all the lights. It's like I don't know, it's probably 1,000 square foot room. Turned out the lights, found a tablecloth, laid it on the floor, put myself in what's called static back position by using a chair for my legs. Sat there and did my exercises and meditated for half an hour, and suddenly saw the whole show, came up with some wonderful framing that I'd never thought of in 35 years, wrote it down, all because I said, well, you know what, just let it be. And it was like that. It was really one of those great weeks, great days, up until about half an hour ago, just when I was preparing for talking about divine timing, so I could give myself an example of exactly what you talked about before. Resisting doing stuff, which was resisting setting up the appointment at Kaiser, so I made it a big drama instead of just letting 9 o'clock roll around and either calling them at 10 o'clock or letting them call me and not get so wigged out over it. All right,
You're not answering the phone.
I hope it ties into what you were saying, because I got
Yeah, no, it does.
great distinction.
I feel that, you know, and I think we give ourselves a hard time, like way too much of a hard time, when we move in and out of that. You know, like when we're moving in and out of the resistance, and because we're human, and of course we're going to have, you know, experiences where we get thrown off a rocker, like where you're just like, yeah, in the groove, and all of a sudden, you know, you get hit by back pain, or you get hit by the timing of things. But the more, I mean, for me personally, the more I give myself lots of opportunity, and for me, it had to have been 3, you know, like handling 3 kids was just, that just did it for me. Like I had to not allow myself to get stressed out by any of that, or I'd be stressed out by all of it. And I knew that I just had to step back from, you know, just being able to talk to one of them at a time, and which is how I have to handle, you know, that is just one kid at a time. And I will stop and I will face each one of them as they're talking to me, and they know who I'm listening to. So the other people, you know, whether or not they hear me, are you know, are aware of who I'm talking to, because who I'm facing is who I'm talking to. So I don't know. I mean, that was just kind of a, you know, a plug for being easy on yourself about it. You just froze up. Yeah, but
Dawn?
be easy and be, yeah.
No, when you're done, I just want to share something.
I would love to hear your share.
So, you know, talking about the whole divine timing, the resistance, the non-alignments, and the making things happen. So funny, when I first got into coaching, I thought, oh, I think I'm going to name my business Making It Happen. But that name was taken. And I always thought making it happen was like a good thing, right? Because, you know, people that I was following and leaders that I was listening to, that was what the message that I was taking away from them was, you know, if you want something to happen, you have to make it happen. It's just, I just find it so brilliant the way the divine works, the universe, the timing to everything. So, I had gone through my insanity phase there for a bit due to stress, but I can see even with empowering angels where I just kept forcing. It was about, I never realized that I had had this resistance. My resistance was fear to things, fear that it wouldn't happen, fear that I couldn't make it happen. So then I kept forcing it, and I kept forcing it. And I guess I kept pushing up against. The results are things just don't happen. Or at least the results for me were things were not happening. So, just as we started off today and you were asking me about my whole win, being able to let it go and just find that space of relaxation and being comfortable with the allowing it is like, I'm telling you, Dawn, I just feel so, free, like the Who sang and Tommy, I'm free. And that's truly how I feel. Look at Mark. He's always doing so.
I know.
He's the kid in your class that gets you into trouble with your teacher.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Total little troublemaker. But yes, so, I hope that I was getting what you were talking about and what I'm coming back at with here. And I'm not meaning to stay in this negative place, but it's just been coming to these awarenesses and the acceptance of them, because needing to let something go, it's like that bad relationship that somebody's in.
Mm-hmm.
And they stay because for whatever their own fears, their own limitations, they choose to stay in it, and it just keeps getting worse, and they're never getting the results that they desire. Well, that was me with hanging on. But I do bless Empowering Angels. It taught me so much. It showed me a lot about myself and about business, and it led me to the things that I needed to be led to. But, man, that forcing, it can just, or it took me to that, as Michelle was saying, that dark night of the soul.
Yeah, and you know what? That is so true. That's what the force will do. And I really, hey, you want to go through a dark night of the soul? Go ahead. Force yourself to do what you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Rewind that, listen to it, and play it again, because this is really truth. If you want to put yourself in that straight arrow to the dark night of the soul, force yourself to do what you think you should be doing. Hello? Yes. Isn't that, but if you allow yourself to do the things that are in front of you, like the next natural step, and if you, approach that next natural step as, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity. And if you look at it and say, okay, I'm willing to go forward and move into this, you are actually working with, you're meeting, your will and divine will are meeting, and you guys are like on partnership and walking the journey together, as opposed to, you're forcing yourself to do something that you think you should be doing, which is.
But it's causing me to bring something up is coming up in me, and it's an expression that I had heard many times throughout my life, but it really is strongly resonating right now with me. We need to make sure we're listening to the right individuals. So when we're seeking out any type of business advice or any branding or anything to any of this,
right,
it's really important, because I was listening to whom I thought were tops in the industry and ignoring my own internal guidance system. And I don't know if this is attached to the self-appreciation or the lack of self-appreciation, but when you think because somebody has this elevated kind of status, whatever that may be, maybe they're earning the amount that you want, or they've got that recognition from others, whatever that may be, that doesn't always necessarily place them to be that expert that one should listen to.
Right.
And that's been a real lesson for me, and I'm really glad that I've had this lesson, that it came with, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I really got it now.
Yeah, you'll get it, and that, oh my gosh, you're so on it. And we will follow people that we think are, like they're doing it. We see their results, and so we chase a result. but there's something that goes in our heart that really tells us, you know, like I feel the truth of what somebody else is saying, but maybe they don't necessarily have the great results. But you can, I mean, I'm saying this for everybody because I've learned so much from people who I have paid so little from or to.
Right.
And it's been, but I was following my, you know, like that, oh my gosh, this is really what I need right now, and knowing what I needed, and knowing what I needed to support me and my business at that time. And that wasn't always the case. So now instead of like constantly looking to pay more and more and more for programs, I mean, this is my truth. I'm looking to pay for things that add value and feel like they support me in moving forward with ease to the next level of my unfoldment and my, you know, my expansion in my business and in my spiritual life. I will at this point refuse to work with somebody who's got, you know, just that who can't feed me spiritually. You know,
Right.
unless I'm just paying a tiny bit and I just need that, just the next, you know, like technical step. If it's just a technical step, you know, that none of that matters to me. I just want, give me the technical lesson. I want to learn it. But when it comes to, you know, being with people, and if I'm going to invest in people, I'm investing in myself. You know, that's the truth of it. I'm investing in myself, and I really want to be around people who have a vibration of something more, something that makes me more. And I have a hard time finding that because I feel very expansive at times, you know, and it's just the truth. And I know where they are, and when I see somebody who fills me up like that, I'm like, yeah, I've got to learn from there. Michelle is the best person on the planet to talk to about human design. I've talked to people about human design before. Talk to her. She feeds you spiritually, me spiritually. I'm sure. And that's why you have to talk to people. You have to talk to people to hear if they're a good fit for you. You know, don't just buy into something because of the marketing. You know, like somebody can have great marketing, but just not be in alignment with their marketing.
Been there. Good copywriters. And which means that, you know, it's not just because that person's charging $25,000 for their program. Does that mean you're going to get $25,000 plus in value?
Yeah, and that's another kind of wacky thing too, is because, you know, I've paid, you know, more and got less, but have felt that my value for, you know, what I got from something was, you know, the unspoken value was more than what I paid. And then there's times when I've, you know, paid like this much and thought, oh my gosh, you know, like that was a waste of my money. That was a waste of my, you know, and it's never a waste. You always learn. You always learn of where your energy is best suited for you. I mean, that's the lesson. If you can follow that, like, wow, that's not the best place for my money energy to flow, or that is, like, that was great. What about that experience was like, you know, fed me and allowed me to get the value back. The truth is, you cannot spend money without receiving. You can't, so spending. You cannot invest and give out money without receiving it. If you're not receiving what you're giving, then you have a issue or problem with allowing it to come back to you. And you can rewind that piece again and write that down because it always comes back and we run from it. I mean, I've seen people run from money. I've done it.
Can I add something, Dawn?
Yeah.
The other thing that people will do is when they are out of alignment with their true soul values. This is where I take people when I'm coaching them. It's the very first step as I get them aligned with their soul values versus what their conditioned values are.
Nice.
So we get to visit all your different kinds of value systems. And where did you get those? And I'm not judging any of them as right or wrong, good or bad. It's you get to decide for your own life what is appropriate for you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you'll be spending money right and left. And I watch people all the time. And even like when I had my hands read, you know, the first time by Beth, She looked at my hands. She goes, "You are not in the least bit motivated by money." I was like, okay. I use it as a tool,
Right.
and I know how to use it. I know how to make it. I know how to invest it. But I'm not someone who, if you dangle, $10,000 in front of me, that I'm going to start begging and drooling like a dog, with it. That's not the thing for me. And that's another thing that shows up actually in someone's design is what is their soul values. And so I can very easily, when people start telling me, oh, this is important to me and this is important to me, and it doesn't align with their hands and their design, I instantly know they're living out someone else's conditioning.
Yeah.
And so we'll continue to waste money chasing someone else's value, somebody else's ideas of what they think their values ought to be. And they will continue to waste the money and come out unfulfilled. This is actually your soul guiding you to get you to the point of being pissed off enough at yourself to become aware and go, this ain't working. Okay, let's get real.
Yeah.
So,
And gosh, like we don't give ourselves permission to look at the places like the failures, like Napoleon Hill wrote about, failures, looking at failures and turning them into opportunities, because every failure is an opportunity. And you're just talking about this on a spiritual level. Like, we don't give ourselves the permission to look at those things and say, wow, like, where's my energy off in that process? Is it about, something different? It's never about what we think it is until we learn to process and to evaluate things based on what we're putting into something energetically and what we're getting back. I mean, that's, it's the law of attraction, but when we start to base our, what we're personally putting into something based on what everybody else is telling us we should, then that's where we're really out of alignment. And I can see where that would, that's a huge help. Knowing what your values are, because it takes years to really get it. There's exercises that you can do. Robert McPhee wrote in his book a lot about values, manifesting for the non-guru. And I know for me, I know what my values are, and I'm constantly reevaluating what those are, because I have spiritual values, I have physical values, and I have mental values, like, personality values. And I'm looking at those things on, not just looking at them as these are my values here on earth, but really looking at, like, what do I value most spiritually, and being aware of all of that. It really helps me. So we got like 4 minutes left. Andrea, you're like smiling. What's up with you?
I just love what you're saying, Dawn. I just love it. And you've been a huge part of my journey. And I just really, I really want to say thank you, because these hangouts mean truly, like, these relationships with you guys and with you, Dawn, it truly means so much to me. Your authenticity, the stuff that you share, the stuff that you want us as entrepreneurs to really understand, not on that surface level, but on that really deep, deep, deep down level, so that madness can end. Because so many of us are in that madness. We're in that having to impress others, needing to impress ourselves, moving into entrepreneurship, especially if one is coming from low amount in their budget, or just, where you're not really fully supported financially to get your business off and running, boom, 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 right away with the correct people in place. And even sometimes when you do have the money, had it at the beginning and spent it on the wrong individuals who had really good copywriters.
Yeah.
So, I really want to say thank you, because there is this fear and this insecurity that comes up in us as maybe more for women than for men. I don't know. I'm a woman, so I can only speak for me. And when you're going to be this entrepreneur and you have this dream and you want to see it, and you know that your purpose is to serve, and none of it's coming together, you take it on as though it's completely yourself. And a lot of it is oneself. But what are those reasons that it's happening? And when you come to Empire Building on a Monday, everything seems to make sense. And then there's the flow of the stuff just really just flowing and to us. And when I look at you guys, we've been spending time together for at least a year, and the movement, I look at Robin, and there's a complete energetic shift that it's so physically evident. And Mark, I know he's in a lot of pain today, but yeah, Mark, I mean, you're doing amazing, and that whole fundraising and how things are just coming together. And, you know, Michelle, you haven't been on here in a while, but, you know, your energy, and with Kathy, and the stuff that I've learned to let go of and not hang on to because my ego was saying, but you spent tens of thousands of dollars on building that business. And no, that bad relationship has to end.
Yeah.
Right? So I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank all of you guys, and thank you, Dawn.
Hey. You're welcome. You're welcome. And, you know, I have to share this from Ricardo on the outside. Ricardo, he says that my experience is when you're aligned with your mission, the divine timing works for making it happen. So there's no verses between the two. And I think that is really a right-on statement to share. Wasn't that really spot on?
Yeah.
So thanks, Ricardo, for pointing out the alignment that happens. And that's so true. It's exactly what we're talking about. Kathy is out there watching too. So she says that she's got some wins, that she's pre-approved to buy a house, and she also had said that there were people looking at her house. So I don't know if she sold it or not, but that's exciting. So lots of great wins. I don't know, Ricardo, if you want to share some wins, you can share them on the event page, because we love wins here. And they're always personal, and they always are the things that make you feel good, make you feel like, what do you appreciate about yourself and about your business? Because that's the wins. And it doesn't always have to be about your life or about your business, because sometimes I remember doing this for years with some realtors, and there would be women that would come in and they're like, I just appreciate that I got a good night's sleep last night because they had new babies. And that is the thing that make your life work. So, and I know that that's not your case, Ricardo. You're not, you know, nursing mom at night, but would love to hear your wins as well. Robin, you have some final words on our way out, because I just want to celebrate you and celebrate, celebrate this ease that you tapped into about moving forward, and about not feeling guilty about being super successful either, because I feel that that's a part of what's popping up for you. And anyways, any final words from you?
Well, I think that just to relax, that let the shoulds go and allow yourself to be yourself. Yeah, it's like whatever filters, it's probably a lifelong process of letting those filters go. Michelle definitely can help with that. You help with that. All of us on this show help with that. But yeah, just relaxing into yourself and appreciating yourself. Just even in the times where you might have already judged that, just say, okay, like I did this yesterday. I just love myself even right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Anyway, so I have. We're gonna get off of here. On the event page, there's a little link to, if you want to do this work with me, which is Empire Building. There's a link where you can go on the event page and do that. And then I also have some self-appreciation workshops coming up, and you can go to my website, donnocera.com, which I should have put there on that thing. And then I have an event calendar that you can look at, and you can see some of those events that, if something rings true for you, I'd love to have anyone who's watching this join me. And anyone else want to share what they're, like if you have something that's going on you want to share with people? I know Robin's got helping. I want to make us get comfortable. I want to help us get comfortable sharing, what it is. Mark, wait a minute. Before I even go, I want to go straight to you, because you put your phone number up there.
I know.
I just have to say congratulations that you did that.
Take action.
Yes, you were quick to take action.
I listened to the divine timing of Robin's voice suggesting, put your phone number out there. And I said, yes, Master Robin, I obey.
Yay, good.
It's
so
an
happy.
occupational hazard. I take suggestion well.
So he's got hypnotherapist shows and therapy.
Oh, wait,
So,
screwed that up. Okay.
is that what it says? You want to tell us what you do?
What?
So how can you help people?
What? Oh, I'm a con man. I sell them on their own confidence. So it's like the highest form of the con game rather than the lowest form.
That is awesome. So you help people, and we all do that. That's what we all do. We help
Yep.
people love themselves, appreciate themselves, and find their own inner confidence so they can feel confident to go and do what they're meant to do in the world. Yeah, that's the work. That's the work of genius. Geni. We are all geni. We're doing the work. We're helping.
A question mark. You don't have to be local,
Question mark.
right?
Question.
That individual that wants to work with you or be hypnotized by you, they don't have to be face-to-face local to you, do they?
Yeah, sometimes I have them turn around.
Comedian.
Can you do it over? Can you do it over Hangout?
Yes, I do a lot of work over the phone.
Okay.
I don't particularly like doing work on Skype because, there's a lag and it just messes with things, and they've got their eyes closed anyway, so why bother? I find the phone has worked for me for years. I actually hypnotized somebody in Barcelona one night. For me, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was noontime there, and this was a while ago. Made a recording of what we were doing, sent it to her by MP3. She got on the metro, went to the only internet cafe that would download it onto a CD, listened to it a bunch of times. It was Fear of Flying, and said, okay, bought a ticket, got on the plane, and listened to my CD for 18 hours or however long it took to get back from Spain.
Right.
Atlanta said, it worked. So if you had told me at the beginning of my 35 years I would be talking to people in the middle of my night in Barcelona, hypnotizing them to get back on a plane, probably would have tried to take your temperature.
That's awesome, though.
Welcome to 2015.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And,
So,
just restored her confidence in herself, that's all. Which is maybe the greatest gift of all.
I think that feels really accurate. The greatest gift of all is to find your confidence, and that's the most attractive thing I found. I know that's the most attractive thing that people find in other people. If they're confident, you're like, that's attractive. I want to work with that person. And that sometimes is, can be a marketing thing as well, right? But you know that if you want to work with somebody who's very confident. All right, guys, I love you. I honor you. And I'm so blessed to be a part of your life. So happy that you are a part of my life. And I will see you
Can we sing happy belated birthday to Robin because we weren't online last week?
Yeah, sure.
Happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated birthday to you. Come on, everybody. Happy belated birthday, our Robin. Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take it.
Oh.